Night. A valley outside Jerusalem, 2,700 years ago. There is fire. Not a cooking fire, not a campfire. A sustained, controlled fire, fed with intention. And gathered around that fire are people who brought their children. This did not happen in some distant pagan city. It happened 200 meters from the walls of Jerusalem, the city of the temple, the city of David. And the texts recording it are not enemy accounts. They are Israel's own sacred scriptures. You have probably heard the name your entire life, in churches, in films, in conspiracy videos, in metal albums. And almost everything you have heard about it, including the name itself, is wrong in ways that matter. The people who worshipped this deity did not call it Moloch. That name was engineered. In Hebrew, the root is Melek, king. That is what they called it, the king. But the Israelite scribes who copied the sacred texts made a precise, calculated decision. They took that name and inserted into it the vowels of a different word, the word boshet, which means shame. Melek became Molek. The king became the shame. This was not a translation error. It was an act of contempt encoded directly into the text, so that every time an Israelite read the name aloud, they were unknowingly pronouncing a curse over the cult. That vowel substitution survived 3,000 years. It passed into Greek as Moloch, into Latin, into English, into every language that inherited the tradition. Every time anyone says this name, they are executing a scribal insult from the Iron Age. The curse is still working. Before the kings and prophets, there is a question that has divided academics for nearly a century and has never been settled. Was Moloch a deity, or was it a type of sacrifice? In 1935, German archaeologist Otto Isfeld analyzed excavations in Carthage and proposed something radical, that Malk in Hebrew and Punic did not designate a god at all, but a category of offering, a consecration sacrifice. The abomination the prophets condemned would not be worshipping a god named Moloch. It would be practicing a specific ritual that Israelites eventually associated with foreign gods. Other scholars, like John Day, respond with Ugaritic texts, documents from the ancient city of Ugarit in modern Syria, written between the 14th and 12th centuries before the Common Era, that mention a deity named Melek, linked to the underworld, possibly equivalent to the Mesopotamian god Nergal, Lord of the Dead. After examining the evidence, the question does not resolve. And that unresolved state matters, because what is not in dispute is what happened in the valley. It was called Valley of Ben Hinnom, the Valley of the Son of Hinnom, south and southwest of Jerusalem. No one knows who Hinnom was. The name simply identified whoever once owned land there. Inside that valley was a specific site called the Topheth. The probable Hebrew root connects to a percussion instrument, something like a drum or tambourine. Later rabbinic texts suggest drums were played during the rites, not as festive music, to cover another sound. The text does not say this explicitly, but the prophets describe what happened there, and they do it with a precision that does not leave much room for ambiguity. Solomon, the wisest king of Israel, the builder of the temple. 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 7. Solomon built high places for Chemosh and for Molek on the hill east of Jerusalem. He did not sacrifice personally, as far as the text says. He built the infrastructure, the high places, the bamot, where others would. The mechanism was political. His marriages to Ammonite and Moabite women brought their cults into Jerusalem. The man who built Yahweh's temple also built the altars where children would burn. Ahaz, king of Judah, reigned around 735 before the Common Era. 2 Kings chapter 16, verse 3. He made his son pass through the fire. The political context is specific. Judah was under Assyrian military pressure. Tiglath-Pileser III was advancing. Ahaz pursued desperate alliances, first diplomatic, then ritual. The sacrifice of his own son at the Topheth occurs at precisely this moment of crisis. Manasseh, the most documented case. He reigned nearly 55 years, longer than any other king of Judah. 2 Kings chapter 21. He made his son pass through fire, restored altars to Baal, installed idols inside the Temple of Jerusalem, practiced divination. The biblical text holds him directly responsible for Judah's eventual fall. His apostasy ran so deep that even Josiah's later reform could not reverse the judgment. There is a detail the Book of Kings omits, but Chronicles preserves. Manasseh repented. He was taken captive to Babylon, prayed, and was restored. Two versions of the same king, one without redemption, one with it. Both are in the canon. Hezekiah reformed the cult before Josiah, destroying pagan altars. The text does not link him specifically to the Topheth, but he establishes the precedent. Josiah, the most radical reform. 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 10. He desecrated the Topheth in the Valley of Ben Hinnom, so that no one could use it to sacrifice their son or daughter in the fire to Molek. The word the text uses for what Josiah did is teme, to defile, to render ritually unusable. He did not burn the place down. He made it unfit for worship. Exactly how, the text does not say. Josiah died in battle against Pharaoh Necho at Megiddo. The reform did not outlast him by much. Jeremiah is the most direct. Chapter 7, verse 31. They have built the high places of Topheth in the Valley of Ben Hinnom to burn their sons and daughters in the fire, something God says he never commanded and that never entered his mind. That final phrase carries significant theological weight. Yahweh is not simply condemning worship of a foreign deity. He is explicitly ruling out the possibility that this is a distorted form of worshiping him. I never asked for this. I never imagined it. Ezekiel goes further. In chapter 8, he has a vision of the interior of the Jerusalem temple. Idols on the walls, women weeping for Tammuz at the north gate, priests worshiping the sun with their backs to the sanctuary. The cult was not at the city's edge, it was inside the temple. In the Valley of Ben Hinnom, no direct physical evidence of the cult has been found. No urns, no altar, no burned infant bones. That does not prove it did not happen, but it means the physical record has not confirmed it yet. What has been found is across the Mediterranean. In Carthage, a city founded by Phoenician colonists, people who were essentially Canaanite, same cultural sphere, same Semitic language, same religious universe, 20th century excavations uncovered thousands of urns containing the burned remains of infants. An analysis of 342 urns conducted by researchers from Hebrew University and Harvard found that most of the infants were approximately 2 months old. That age distribution does not correspond to natural infant mortality. Children in that range do not die of disease at those rates. The term appearing in the dedicatory inscriptions on those urns is MLK, the same term in the biblical text. I expected this evidence to converge. It does not. We have kings practicing the rite inside Jerusalem, prophets condemning it with surgical precision, a valley whose ground has not yet yielded what should be there, urns in Carthage confirming something, but not everything, a name that is a 3,000-year-old curse, and a 90-year academic debate that remains open. What does close is this: the Valley of Ben Hinnom stopped being a cult site. Josiah defiled it. Over time, it became Jerusalem's permanent landfill. Constant fire, worms, decay. Jews of the intertestamental period gave it a new name in Greek, Gehenna. Centuries later, a Galilean rabbi would use that name exactly 12 times to describe final judgment. That is the next episode. But before we get there is a chain to examine, one connecting this valley to Saturn, to Satan, and to a symbol that appears today on the flag of a modern state. I looked into where that chain actually leads. What I found was not what I expected. If you want to follow where this goes, subscribe. The next episode is where it gets harder to explain. The kings who built the temple also built the altars where children burned. Does that change how you read Scripture? Or did the text already know that about itself?